Hi, this is Shanae Finlayson, member of Lance, with this week's edition of our weekly updates. For more information on who we are and what we do, as well as other weekly updates like this one, you can always follow us on Twitter at Lance_JA. That's LANDS_JA, or you can visit our website at jalans.org. That's JALANDS.org. This week I'll be discussing the Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton's announcement that 100 private doctors will be receiving authorization to administer COVID-19 vaccines from their practices, the resumption of face-to-face teaching at some primary schools, and the moves by a South African lab to end vaccine inequality. Let me start with the Health Minister's announcement. The minister announced that the Health and Wellness Ministry had collaborated with 100 private doctors with the help of the Medical Council and the Medical Association of Jamaica to administer COVID-19 vaccines. This will be made available free of charge. He said that there has been some hesitation from some private doctors to administer the vaccine, but he didn't say why. He also said that this, along with the existing mobile units and vaccination sites plus door-to-door vaccination for disabled persons, there is no excuse for persons not to get vaccinated. But here's the problem. There hasn't been a list of practices or even a list showing the distribution of the doctors authorized to administer these vaccines. If this rollout is anything like the mobile units which have been visible in only select areas, then there'll still be the issue of persons in rural areas having less access to vaccine sites than in the urban areas. For example, in St. Thomas, there is only one permanent vaccine site for the entire parish. I'm concerned that there might be limits in the dates and times that doctors are open to administer vaccines, which could contribute to the problem we already have of not enough sites being open on time to facilitate persons such as those who work, go to school, or do both. If done strategically, then this could be an encouraging move by the health ministry. But failing that, then the ministry really hasn't done much to address the quote unquote excuses. Moving along to the resumption of face-to-face teaching at some primary schools. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced on Tuesday, that was October 26, 2021, that face-to-face learning will resume for 376 primary schools across Jamaica as of November 8th. He said that this was being done to lessen the learning loss despite the threat of the virus spreading. He said that he believed that we can manage any risk of outbreak by quote unquote strategically allowing some children to go back and putting in place a measure to allow vaccinated students where vaccines are accessible, end quote. Now, it's very important to state that the Pfizer vaccine was and is still the only vaccine approved for persons under 18. When the first batch landed in Jamaica in the summer, it was announced that children would be first priority for the Pfizer vaccine. As it turned out, these weren't actually reserved for children by the government. So adults were able to choose the Pfizer over the Johnson and Johnson and the AstraZeneca that were readily available, meaning that there were children who ended up having vaccines running out on them. So the Pfizer vaccine wasn't made exclusively available to children. Added onto that, the government has continued to downplay the effects of COVID-19 on children. And when pressed, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that he wasn't certain of any set testing protocols for students at the local level. Now, in a country where the full vaccination rate of the entire population is less than 15%, and I think I'm being very generous there, one would think that the least any government would do would be to ensure that there are robust testing strategies to keep up with not only the isolated cases in schools but outbreaks as well. This move and all the details surrounding it shows that children continue to be an afterthought for the government, which I think might be generous considering that there are a lot of people who aren't priority who are especially affected. So this would point more to scant disregard for human life on many fronts. Without these protocols, the same learning loss that wholeness claims to be trying to prevent will persist because they will likely have to close schools in the event of a fourth spike, a spike that wholeness says is imminent. At what point does the government get it right with the management of the pandemic? And finally, in the Jamaica Observer article, Africa tries to end vaccine inequity by replicating its own, published on Sunday, October 24, we see young scientists from the Afrigen company in South Africa having to resort to makeshift labs in order to replicate the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine because South Africa has yet to receive any vaccines. This is being backed by the World Health Organization, which is coordinating vaccine research, training, and production hub in South Africa. What makes this particularly difficult to pull off is that both Moderna and Pfizer have refused to share their vaccine formulas so that these scientists can produce their own vaccines faster. The thing with Afrigen attempting to pull this off is not only do they not have a recipe, but there's no one sharing even the technical know-how to make this a success. Some have been concerned about intellectual property, asking pretty much, can these South African scientists legally reverse engineer the Moderna vaccine? Well, Moderna said that they won't be taking any legal action against them if they pull it off. They also promised a vaccine factory in Africa at some point in the future. Of course, all of this to say is Moderna is really hoarding the vaccines that they have to make a profit, while people across the world continue to become chronically ill and die from COVID-19. The good thing is, unlike the pharmaceutical companies, Afrigen said that they'll be sharing their formula with others to help reduce the vaccine inequality. That's all from me today. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Lands_JA and check out our website at jalands.org for more weekly updates and more information about lands. My name is Shanae Finlayson. Do have a great week.